What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this feels so weird. I don't know what to do with myself, but I haven't filmed in so long guys, and honestly I'm not gonna make excuses. The girl was lazy, the girl is on lockdown, and the girl is actually trying to rest. So I was just trying to rest and draw myself towards myself again. With the whole lockdown situation and with school, you know, things can get a little bit frustrating, you know, anxious because of sort of like the uncertainties, but we trust in God and we trust in the sovereignty of God. We know that God has everything under control. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So I'm sure you guys can tell by the title that this is my, what do you call it, Q&A, my med school Q&A. So I'm so bad. I was supposed to do this so long ago, where I asked you guys to ask me anything related to med school, BSc, getting in, and I just haven't done it. Guys, my battery's flashing. I'm so sad. Guys, I'm so sorry about that. So my battery is flashing and I'm so sad. I'm literally filming at the mercy of the Lord because I don't have my ring light and I'm using natural lighting. So apologies in advance if the lighting does change. But before this battery dies and I have to charge it and get back to you, let's start with some of the questions. So I will be looking on my phone. This is where all the questions are, and I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can and as quick as I can, because I really genuinely get like a lot of the same type of questions even in my DMs. So I really wanted to make a video where I can cover sort of all these questions, that I can refer someone to the video, you know, if I don't have time to respond to DMs. And if you have sent me a DM and I haven't yet replied, I will reply soon, I promise you. Sometimes, yeah, things get a little bit overwhelming and the DMs get a lot, and I really want to give attention and reply properly. But thank you guys so much for always DMing me. I genuinely appreciate it, and I definitely will always reply. So the first question says, how do you maintain your time? Studying, classes, assignments, I find it difficult. So it's a trick question, if I can put it that way, because what works for one person might not work for another person. For me, honestly, it's, and I'm not trying to over spiritualize this, but the truth is the truth. Facts are facts. It is the grace of God. I honestly don't know how I would be managing everything apart from God's grace. But what I do, just some practical tips that I do is that I do plan. So I will plan out my days or plan out my weeks, and even if I might not keep strictly to it, I try to be lenient with myself and sort of just like, if I miss something up or if I was supposed to do something and I didn't do it, I try sort of like, okay, let go and sort of reschedule whatever it is that I missed. So that is how I maintain studying and classes, by planning, making sure I know what I'm supposed to be doing when, so that I can sort of maximize on my time. So the next question is, if you have studied something in corporate, can you be admitted into med school? The answer is yes. So whether you have an undergraduate degree or a postgraduate degree, maybe in a BCom or anything else in corporate, or if maybe you're doing your first year or second year, you still can be admitted into med school. So I know a few of my classmates did do BCom accounting or did do law or other subjects, and they managed to get into med school. So yes, you can apply. Maybe I'll make a separate video where I talk about different ways that you can get into med school. So from matric, if you've got a degree, what type of degree, and the different ways and the different schools that I applied to before I got in. Then, why do you keep your cadaver cutting equipment in the boot of your car with gloves? That is my husband. He's so freaked out by the fact that I have my dissecting kit and gloves in the boot of my car, so that I don't forget it. And my white coat and my lab coat is always there as well. So yeah, anywho, the next question is, when applying for med after your BSc, do they still look at your matric results? So they still ask for your matric results everywhere you do apply, and I'm not sure how much they weigh, but they still do look at them, because at the end of the day you still need to meet the minimum requirements, and they do look at them. Yes. And then the next question is, hey, to what universities did you apply, and how do you experience med school at GOFCs? So I applied to SMU, Sefako Makgato, which is formerly known as Medunsa. I applied to the University of Pretoria. I applied to WITS. I applied to UFS and WUSU. Yeah, Walter Sisulu University. That is just about it. That is where I applied. And how was my experience at GOFCs? So far, so good. Now, the Rona has, guys, it's thrown us off, but it's okay. But so far, so good. I'm really enjoying it. And my experience has been really good. I am happy. It's a good school. I mean, every school has its challenges, but so far, so good. This is my second year, and I will film an update on how med school has been so far for me. Then the next question is, can you get in with any BSc, or should it be related to human biology courses? Okay, so yes, you can get into med school with any BSc. You can get into med school with engineering, goodness, teaching, anything. And then the next question is, I think that's what they mean, are there specific BScs for getting into med school, or any type of BSc can qualify? For example, BSc Earth. I think I have covered that in the previous question. Then GEMP, does your first year affect your chances? Okay, I applied for the graduate entry medical program at WITS. It didn't get in. I applied quite a few times. I passed the test, the WAPT test, twice. Does your first year affect your chances? I'm not sure if your first year affects your chances, but what I do know is that they look at your last 2 academic years. You can correct me if I'm not right, but when I did do my research and when I was trying to get in and I'd call them, they always kept on going on about the composite index score, and what also counts to that is your last 2 years. So the average of, so let's say if you just finished your 3rd year, you graduated, so your 2nd and your 3rd year, but if you finished your honors, it will be your honors and your final year type of thing. I hope that makes sense. That counts. So with first year, I'm not sure about that, but I don't think it should bring you down that much, but always aim to do well. And then the next question is, on average, how high should your marks be to qualify for the WAPT test? I have no idea as to how high your marks should be, but the school will let you know if you're invited to write the test or not. But you can also, I'll also put a link down below of the WITS website that explains the minimum requirements. So I think those are the minimum requirements that you need to reach in order to be sort of invited, and I'm not sure of any other additional criteria. Then the next question is, am I too ambitious if my marks aren't the best right now? I'm gonna say no, girl, because then I should have been labeled as too ambitious. I just think, God is sovereign and God is God, and He is the one who's in control of everything. The sad reality is that if this is not for you, if it's not God's will, you can work hard and you can get 90s and you understand what I'm saying, and still not get in. So at the end of the day, me as a Christian, that is just my belief is in the sovereignty of God, and that it is God who orders your steps. And even if you had low marks, if it is in the will of God for your life, somewhere down the line it will happen for you, because He is the one who has got you in the palm of His hand. So, and I can testify to that. I have gone from failing, getting 40s and stuff, to doing well by the grace of God, and to being able to get into med school. So I don't think you're being too ambitious, but I think you also need to be realistic. So I needed to be realistic with myself and be honest with myself so that I can up my marks and do better. So the next question is, I have a diploma in biomedical sciences, currently pursuing my BTech, which is equivalent of a degree or honors, but I absolutely hate it here and honestly really want to do medicine. So sure, I can really sort of relate to what you're saying. I know how hard it is to be doing a degree that you know you don't want to do, and to know deep down inside what you want to do and persevere. If it's God's will for your life, it will happen for you. And yeah, keep yourself motivated. You know what I used to do, I remember, like, I used to I used to follow people who were doing medicine and people who would post such, because that kind of content for me kept me going. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait until I get to do this, or whatever the case may be. So keep yourself motivated, keep speaking to people, stay encouraged, be realistic with your situation, do what you can, submit it to God and to His will, and yeah, then I guess the rest is just like a waiting game, if I can put it that way. Would I still be able to get into UFS with just my diploma? So I think you can, because you can get into UFS from matric if you have a degree, if you have a diploma, if you did nursing. So I think you can apply and you can get in. I'm just not sure the percentage they take of seniors and the exact criteria that they look at when they consider taking someone in. But you can get in with any degree, with a degree or without. I know people who have gotten in with their matric marks, even though they did matric like a couple of years ago, like more than 5 years ago, but they still applied and they were still able to get in. So, do you ever feel like you're not fit enough for medicine? Being realistic and not sugarcoating. Absolutely. I think, you know, fellow med students can attest to the fact that you do feel like you're not enough. You really do. And med school is very competitive. Med school is very challenging. Med school is very taxing, if I can put it that way. And there are times when you feel inadequate. There are times when you feel like, how am I going to do this? But I mean, I don't think anyone feels like they can do everything all the time, even if it's in the field that you have a passion for. So I guess that is part of life. But it's true. You do sometimes feel like, child, this is hard. Then the next question is, what challenges have you encountered with medicine? So the challenges that I've encountered are, challenge for me is sort of keeping up consistently with that content and not lagging behind. I find myself falling behind and having to catch up, etc. But yeah. And then she also asked again, is it smooth sailing with your current marks? I wouldn't say it's smooth sailing, but I would say it is smoother sailing, if that's even a thing. I think it is better, or because I sort of have a basic medical science degree and a basic medical science background, it is easier for me because I am sort of in the basic medical science phase. I haven't yet started with the clinical phase of things. So while I'm still doing this, it's things that I've all done, you know, biochemistry, genetics, physiology. I did a little bit of anatomy. I didn't do a lot of anatomy, but it's things that I've encountered before. So it is easier in that sense, but the workload is still a lot and I still need to sit my down and get to studying. So it definitely does help. I'm not gonna lie, having a BSc, especially in medical sciences or in biomedical sciences, it really does help. Then, do you have to study harder than before? Isn't it too much to take in? Do you remember most of the work? I don't think that I have to study harder than before. I think I have to study more work than before, if that makes sense. And I do remember most of the work, and going back to my previous answer, what helps me is that I've encountered most of the content before. So when you do something again, you're like, oh, I remember this from pharmacology. Oh, I remember this from, you know, GTS, genetics. Oh, I remember this from physiology. So that does come back and that does help. So in that sense, I do remember most of my work because of that. But studying is harder in the sense that it's more work. Then she asked again, which BSc did you do at UP? What did you major in? So at Tux, I did a BSc in human physiology, and some of the electives or some of the I don't want to call them co-majors, but that I took were genetics and pharmacology. Did you struggle finding a job with a BSc? God was so good, guys, because a lot of people genuinely do struggle finding a job, but I did manage to get, I did manage. Okay, let's get back to it. So, I didn't struggle that much. It was a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. I think I was applying for about 3 months with nothing, no interview, no one seeing my CV. But after that 3 months, I got an interview and I got the job, and it was in a biomedical engineering company, so that was really cool. And I do have other friends who did BScs, and they were able to get jobs like a month after school or a couple of weeks after school. And then again, there's other people who struggle to get a job. So I don't think there is like a clear or like a formula, but different people have different sort of encounters. Then the next question is, can I get in with an average of 70% off the BSc? I would say yes. I just would say it would be a bit challenging. I don't want to lie. Many schools do take, from the experience that I had at WITS, the times that I didn't get in, I would call in and ask, but guys, what's up? I did well. My average was 75. What is happening? And they were just like, it's not enough, girl. You can't just have 75 for this one, you understand, this 1 year, or or that can't just be it. There's people with averages of like 80, there's people with averages of like 90. But then at the end of the day, it also goes back to, there's people who've gotten in with averages of 70. So I'm not gonna say that yes or no, but I would say that try to aim higher, try to aim for an average of 75 and above if you can. Well, I have to do honors after BSc for me to be considered. You won't have to, but if you don't get in, I think that's the next logical step. And what I would advise, if you are doing your final year and you're applying to medicine, I would advise that you also apply for honors, so that in case this doesn't work out, that you've got this. So that was like one of the mistakes that I made. I was like, it's medicine or nothing. I'm like, I don't want honors. Honors for who, for what? Then I didn't apply and they didn't take me. Then I had a year that was just there. But at least I got to upgrade my marks and then apply for honors after that. Okay, the next question is, did you ever consider studying overseas as an option? No. So the options were there. I remember in my second year of my BSc, like my friends left, people went to China. I know people who went to Cuba as well. I've got a friend who went to Cuba and a friend who went to China. They're both done, and a whole lot of other people who were looking like to other countries, but I don't know, I just didn't have it in me. I was I was like, I ain't going nowhere. And if you feel like you are open to that option, definitely do it. Look out, go to China, go to Lithuania. I don't know how it's gonna work now with the Rona in China, but when things settle down, I'm sure you can apply. Cuba as well, Lithuania, Russia. There are quite a few South African students who are doing medicine there, so those are other options. But no, I didn't. And I'm glad, because I met my man. Okay. What should your average be to get into med school from BSc at UFS? I honestly have no idea. I don't want to lie to you, but what I would advise is aim to get 75, or a distinction, or an average that is an overall sort of distinction, because many of the people that I have spoken to who are in did manage to get their degrees cum laude, or like to graduate with a high average. So just from gauging, I don't know what the official mark is, from the people who sit down and do the whole application process, but from the people that I have spoken to, what I'm gauging is that many of the people, you know, got an average of 75 and above for their previous degrees, or yeah. And then the last question is, I want to study medicine, but I never did physics, life science, or maths, and my APS score is low. Okay, so what I would advise for you, I don't know if you were recently in matric and you just finished, because if you, oh yeah, that's a bit tricky. Or if you were doing a degree, or I'm not too sure about your situation, but one way that you can go about it is through the WITS way. So WITS has the WAPT and the GEMP program, which is the Graduate Entry Medical Program, and they do have sort of short courses or a way for you to cover biology and the other modules if you sort of don't meet those prerequisites. So what I will do, again, I will link that down below. Have a look in the description box, click on the link and go to the WITS website, and they have all the details on how you can do it. And I know that you can also correspond through UNISA and try get the equivalent of those modules via UNISA. And yeah, but also just do some research, check out things on the internet, and yeah, that is it from me, guys. I am so glad that I finally got to film this video. I have been putting it off for so long, and yes, I will definitely be filming more med school content, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit a like so that I know you guys do enjoy it, and comment down below on any other sort of med school related videos you'd like to see from me, and please do suggest some for me down in the description. But oh, in the description, ciao, in the comment section below, suggest any other med school related videos that you would like to see from me. But until next time, God bless and bye bye.